I want to invite my next case study to come and join me on the stage. Please put your hands together for Samantha. Come on, let's hear it. Good morning, Samantha. How are you? Come and have a seat. You didn't have too hard a night out last night, did you?
No, I went to bed. I was well behaved.
Good. Green button's the one you want just to move it forward.
Thank you.
So, I know you've got a few slides here, and we'll start with just, like everyone, just a little bit of background about you,
okay.
What you've done, and then also we'll go into these, what you've achieved so far, because you're just coming to the end of Mastermind 33.
Yeah.
This is your last month, technically, and you've done really well.
Thanks.
So I thought it would be really good to inspire people, to show people what they can do, and particularly we're going to talk about these option deals, which many people just cannot get their head around.
Yeah.
And I know it takes, but once you get it, and I think it's your favourite strategy now, isn't it?
Yeah, once you do it, it becomes, I think once you believe you can do it and then you do one, then you want to do more.
That belief is so important, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't believe no one's going to do this, you're right, you'll never find anyone. But once you've done it, think, why didn't I listen to Simon and do this sooner? Which is what you should all be thinking, right?
Of course, always, every day.
Tell us about yourself, first of all, Samantha, please.
So I started MM33 in May, so only 9.5 months ago. I didn't actually do the accelerator until May. And I had 0 properties. I had 1 residential property that I'd only actually bought 2 years before and no investment properties. My background's in hospitality and technology, so I left school, worked in hospitality. I started a tech company when I was 25, scaled that, sold that 7 years later, and then went back into hospitality. So I was self-employed. I owned a 12-bedroomed hotel, pub and restaurant in the Peak District with my husband, and we wanted to exit that business. It was fine, it was a good business. Someone said it really well yesterday in the speaker competition, comfortably numb. I wasn't learning anything. Life was great, I was happily married, had a good business, 2 beautiful stepdaughters, but I wasn't happy if that, but for no reason whatsoever. So I wanted to change, and I found your book, as I think most people do. I chose short-term rental as my first strategy because I wanted to replace our cash flow as quickly as possible.
So obviously selling the business, you get a chunk of cash, but you lose cash flow, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and I knew, it doesn't take long to eat into capital. Yeah. So I wanted to replace our cash flow as soon as possible, and I have hospitality experience, so SA made perfect sense.
Yeah.
I started out, I went and found the 2 lowest hanging fruit properties on the market that I could. Yeah. Been there for 2 years, needed loads of work. Bought those to convert to SA, both with really good ROI. And then...
and you just found those on Property Filter?
Yeah, so basically I looked for the 2 lowest hanging fruit properties I could. I sort of decided my area, used their DNA, worked out what the numbers would be on SA, found them on Property Filter, put low offers in, accepted, and so on and so forth.
Great.
And then in the November masterclass, you said something, and I can't remember exactly what you said, but I went home to my husband and I said, I'm going to do a PLO this month. Yeah. And he kind of looked at me like,
so you'd gone through, as part of Mastermind, you get all the homes, you've gone through the PLO training, right? And I was reminding people, I was saying, look, coming up to Christmas is a really good time to get a deal, because obviously, people emotionally want to get things sorted before Christmas, they can relax and enjoy it. And I think we'd just done the 2-day purchase lease option live, and I was saying to everyone at that, I said, guys, let's get going. Who wants to get a deal before Christmas? And everyone said, yeah. And I said, yeah, we'll see. We'll see who actually puts the time and effort in. And the thing I really respect about you, Samantha, you kind of just get on with it. We tell you what to do, you go and do it, right?
Yeah, I'd been good in the army, I think.
You would have been good in the army, yes.
Yeah, I'd have been good at that. Yeah, I do. Well, I think that's the way, I paid you to do this course because I wanted to learn from you. So, that's really why I did it, because I wanted that direction at each stage to say, no, go and do this next, or
but
go
because
and do that next.
Because you've just done what we said, and keep going. It's not easy, right? You need to keep going.
It's really hard.
You need to be persistent, but it's just work because, you're a classic example, trust the process, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I decided I was going to do it. And I used the for rent or for sale, because the way I saw it, he's almost advertising that he's open to a PLO. Like, he's literally telling me in the advert, I'm open to a PLO, because those are the terms. So I found 2 properties in my area that the numbers worked on our DNA. One of them, I couldn't even get hold of the agent, and the other one, I arranged a viewing. And when I arranged the viewing, I took the advice from the PLO training and made sure that I could meet the owner of the property.
Yeah.
There with the agent, I sort of said, I might want to buy it, I might want to rent it, I'm not sure what I want to do. Would it be possible for the owner to be there? And he was, and I'll talk you through. Oh, there you go. So this was that property. So it's a 4-bed property. It was advertised for sale or rent. I didn't know at the time, but it's owned by a portfolio landlord. He'd fully renovated this property. So he had owned this property for 20 years and had a low-paying tenant in there. The property was in some disrepair.
Yeah, which is often the way with long-term landlords, right?
Yeah. The tenant moved out and he decided he didn't want it anymore, so he was going to do it up and flip it for sale.
Yeah.
And then it had sat on the market. Interest rates had gone up, house prices had come down slightly, and it wasn't shifting. So then he put it back up for rent or for sale as well.
Okay.
And before I went, I like to, before I view any property, I know what I can offer. I know what my terms can be. I like to sort of get things done quickly. So I knew exactly what I could offer him. I had all my terms ready to go. We agreed the heads of terms at the viewing, and 9 days after viewing it, I had the keys. We completed that one in 9 days.
Wow.
So
now, if you had made an offer and you were going to buy with a mortgage, it would be you probably you wouldn't even have the keys now, right?
No,
3 or 4 months.
probably not. No.
And that's you've got to remember this, guys. This is one of the really great things. Now, it might take a while to. It can take months and months and months and months to negotiate an option. We're not saying it's always going to happen like that, but we're saying it can happen. That's one of the reasons I've got Samantha to talk about this particular deal. It can happen that quickly. Once you know how to do this, within weeks, you could be getting cash flow from a property. That's so exciting for me, so powerful. Without a mortgage, without a big deposit.
Yeah. I mean, the fastest one we've got through conveyancing is 4.5 months, and that is with being really active. Purchasing, yeah. That's with being really active, you know, and engaged and chasing solicitors all the time and lenders, but you know, it just takes time. That's just the way it is.
It does. Yeah. Okay. Brilliant.
So the option fee was £1. Add to the legals, 1,154. Furniture, we bought some, leased some. The purchase price, this was advertised at 270, and I was prepared to give him 270, but he said 250, so I stayed quiet and said thank you very much.
There's that. Let me. Another thing for your sheet here, your £100,000 idea. Please write this down. I went on a business course. I think back in about 2010. It was £10,000 for 4 days in London. It wasn't about property, it was about business. But one of the things they talked about was negotiation. And they had this great question. I'm going to give you this question, and this question will pay for this course 100 times over, okay? Now, you can only do this once you've built good rapport with someone. But once you've done that, you ask them this question. What's the lowest you will take and still be happy? And that question has saved and made me hundreds of thousands of pounds. What's the lowest you will take and still be happy? And please don't jump in and do that as the first question. You've got to build some rapport, some trust, but it's a great question to use. Yeah, carry on. Sorry, I just wanted to share that.
No, it's good, no. So the monthly rent is 1,400, and then after the rent and all the costs, this profits at £2,341 a month.
Just to be clear, this is using this as serviced accommodation.
Yeah, high-end serviced accommodation.
Which you've got experience in already, so you know what you're doing there, so you know your numbers, you've done your due diligence on Air DNA.
Yeah.
You're very comfortable with this.
Yeah, and this actually gives better profit than some of the properties I've bought.
Yes.
Because the Air DNA numbers are really good. It's a really well-located property. Driveway, you know, everything you're sort of looking for.
And that's a very high ROI, right?
Yeah.
One of the great things about, you know, I mean, I like to get at least 50%, something over 100, you know, you're getting your money back very, very quickly.
Yeah, definitely. So and so quick to go as well, because it doesn't need any work. What we've had to do, because it's so plain, it's been done for a single let, we have had to add lots of character through, you know, design, furniture, but there's low-cost ways to do that. Yeah. But you've still got to keep it within your brand. And
so another myth is people think that you can only do options on properties that are really bad state and you know, you have to spend tens of thousands of pounds. And sometimes that is correct, but not always the case, right? The guy had done this up to sell it as a normal buy-to-let.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I will say, though, is you do get the snag in there as well, though, because it was a flip. So there was some snagging to do, you know, bits of tidying up, kitchen handles, things like that, but nothing major at all.
Okay, awesome. So that's a pretty good deal. But it doesn't end there, does it?
That one. No, so this was the next one. So this was an off-market deal, and this came through word of mouth from the other guy who we'd done the deal with. He was telling someone else what they'd done, and this guy had 3 apartments that were for sale. They weren't on the market. He'd had 3 single-let tenants in there who hadn't taken care of them. They hadn't trashed them. They're untidy, I think, is the best way to describe them. But he's elderly and he wants out. So he approached me first to buy them, which I said was absolutely fine, but I wanted them vacant possession. He didn't want to wait 4 or 5 months for them to be sold vacant possession, so he wanted someone in there. So a PLO seemed the ideal. So he gets his money, he gets his sale at the end. That's how he decided to go for this. So this one does need a light refurb. It's a 5-year PLO again, and this one took 3 weeks from viewing to completion, so slower than the first. The legals were a bit higher because it's 3 apartments and the leasehold. So the legals on this one was £1,764, £1 option fee again. We've leased most of the furniture for these. And refurb, 25k. So it doesn't need new kitchens or bathrooms, but it needs decorating, carpet, kitchens tidying up, things like that. The agreed purchase price on this is 190. He did want 220, and I negotiated this because I thought that was a fairer price.
Given that you need to spend some money on it as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I sort of wanted that back up front as opposed to...
That's still pretty good for 3 flats, right?
Yeah. I mean, 220 was okay as well, but, you can always try. Monthly rent for the 3 of them is 1,450, which gives a monthly profit of 2,210 and an ROI of only 94.6 on this one. Compared to the other one, it's not as good. I did try.
Not bad.
Not
bad. Just try harder next time.
I will do,
But then the next deal's not so bad either, is it?
No, I like this one.
Well, you mean there's another one?
This is the third one.
And that's great. If you're not spending long, you could do lots of these deals, right?
Yeah, definitely. And again, this one comes from my first landlord, word of mouth. So this property is owned by his daughter's boyfriend's dad. And his property had been on the market for 2 years. They were at a family party. He was complaining, saying, my property won't sell. And my first PLO landlord said, oh, I work with this couple, and do you want their number? And that's how this came about. So this one sleeps 20 people. So it's currently used as a 5-bed, but when we rejig the rooms, it will be more like a 8-9 bed. He's not a landlord. It's his residence. It's in immaculate condition.
I mean, it looks amazing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, wait till you see the next ones. It's a beautiful house, and this is sort of one of them real... Well, I actually brought this to you and said, I don't know if I should do this.
And I said,
and I actually mentioned it to Dan Hill as well.
Yeah.
I was on a call with Dan Hill and I mentioned it to him as well and said, I don't know whether I should do this deal.
What did he tell you to do? I said, do the deal. What did he say?
He told me to do it, yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So if it doesn't work, I'm blaming you too.
Yeah. If it doesn't work, I'll take it off you.
Oh, well, no. I'm definitely keeping it
Wait
then.
till you see the pictures, guys. Wait till you see the pictures.
So...
Who else would have the property, right? Great.
So the option fee and legals for this one is 2,240. Again, it's a £1 option fee. It's just higher legals, just because it's a more, it's a more complicated thing because of the size of the property and stuff. Furniture, 25k, and I will lease some supplementary bits as well. And he's actually leaving some in there because when you're in a house like this, not everything fits in the next house you buy.
Yeah.
So some of it isn't any use to him, so he's going to leave some as well. So the purchase price for this is 1.6 million. The monthly rent is 5,250, which, as you just said before, seems so much to commit to, and I think that's the hesitation of should I do it?
Well, we talked about
it's
that,
a big
didn't
commitment.
We? But then when you look at the income you can bring in,
So I've been really conservative with this number as well. So I'm forecasting this will profit 3,694 a month. But I've only actually forecasted a 30% occupancy on standard normal bookings. That's without doing anything. So this is also near the Open golf course where they hold the Open. It backs onto a beach. So that's without doing anything extra, any corporates.
We talked to Mastermind about this would be perfect for weddings.
Yeah.
Have a wedding party. They could all stay, or a lot of them could stay there rather than staying in hotels and things. And it's a much, you can put a chef in there to cook for them. This could be absolutely amazing, right?
Well, I think COVID's changed the hospitality market as well, and lots of people are looking for things where they can go away together as a group and be in their own space. And because this is my area and I work in hospitality anyway, you know, we can cater, we can put staff in there, we can put bars in there. So, but I've done the numbers as though, you know, as though I'm just going to put it on Airbnb or, you know, another website.
I think we said you could probably rent this out for probably one weekend a month and probably more than cover what you're paying the landlord.
Yeah, I would think so. But I wanted to be really conservative just to make sure that, you know, we were covered.
Yeah.
So so that's what I forecast for this.
So like I say, if it doesn't work, I'll have it off you, okay?
Okay. No. I'm
join the queue, Dan.
If it's not working now, then I know I'm doing something wrong.
And there's something else you said as well, which is that I said you can use options in different ways. Do you want to say what you told me you might do with this property eventually?
Oh, so well, you get a different answer from my husband, but in my mind, I'm going to live in this house in 2 years. I'm going to replace the income from this one with others, and this will be my house. But if David was here, he would probably give you a very different
he wants
answer.
the income from it, probably.
He wants the income from it, yeah. He won't even let me use my house in Anfield to go and watch my own football team or Taylor Swift. That's how sort of...
Because he could be rented to someone else.
Because he's sold all the Taylor Swift nights, yeah. I'm not even allowed to stay there with my friends, so... He's mean. So, but yeah, I'll come back in 2 years and tell you if I actually live in this house or not. But yeah.
Fantastic. Wow. So have all those, no pun intended, all those options open to you just because you've got out there to take a massive action. And this doesn't work for everyone, obviously, but there are people out there. And who now starting to think, yeah, actually, maybe I can see how this can work for some of these landlords. Who gets that, right? And that's what I wanted to achieve by sharing this. So that's awesome. And just a final summary, obviously, coming to the end of your mastermind program, do you mind sharing with people, and obviously you've got this, you had the first two developments where you're buying a refurb, they will take a bit of time to set up. But these are very, very quick, which is great. Cash flowing quick. Once everything's set up and running, what do you think the profit after mortgages, bills, insurance, maintenance, everything, what do you think the profit will be from all the properties you've acquired during this time in Mastermind?
So it's just under £12,000 a month, which is just under 141,000 and something a year.
That's pretty amazing, right?
Yeah.
So you haven't quite, absolutely, round of applause. So you haven't quite tripled, but way over doubled the target, which is pretty cool. When you started this program, less than a year ago, because you missed the first workshop and then jumped straight because you didn't want to wait 6 months.
No.
Did you think you'd ever do anything like that?
No, I mean, I did the big audacious goal. My goal was 10K a month. But yeah, no, of course, not. No, on a huge level, no, I didn't think I'd do it.
Yeah.
But it was, you know, that was sort of my goal. But that was why I wanted to do it straight away, because I knew if I waited the 6 months for Mastermind,
if your goal is to make 10K a month, why would you put off getting to that goal?
Yeah.
Because if you put it off 6 months, that's 60K potentially going to be down on.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So I just sort of wanted to, like, really, I was so motivated after Accelerator that I wanted to build on that sort of momentum and just.
What does David think about it all?
Yeah, he's really pleased. Yeah.
Yeah, I should think so too, because you've done all the work.
He might watch the replay. I've got to say, he does loads of work too.
Yeah, it's teamwork.
I couldn't do it without him. It's good actually because we tend to fit into. We like doing different parts of it, so it works quite well. We both have our things. David's not a detail person. I do detail.
Okay, good. And obviously the financial thing is amazing, but. As many people yesterday said, Mastermind's not just about that. What's Mastermind done for you as a person?
Well, I think one of the best examples would be 9.5 months ago, I was at Accelerator, and when the microphone goes round at the end of the day for a key learning, I'd go to the toilet. Because just the thought of speaking on the microphone absolutely terrified me. And 9.5 months later, I'm sitting here, and yes, my palms are sweaty, and I'm half dying, but I'm here and I'm doing it, and you know that's a huge step. But it's changed everything for me. I found a passion I was lacking, a happiness that I was lacking. It's improved my relationships. Just every day is better. I know that sounds crazy. I know, and I'm so tired. I haven't worked this hard for years. But it's great. It's so straight. I enjoy my time off more than I did when I didn't work as much. It's improved sort of every area of my life, really.
Fantastic. It's wonderful
so I
to
can't
hear.
Thank you enough.
Samantha, thank you so much. Let's have a massive round of applause, Samantha. Thank you. Wonderful.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Brilliant. Hey, it's Simon here. I do hope you've just enjoyed that video on YouTube. I hope you took lots of notes, and more importantly, you're going to take action. And what I'd encourage you to do is click on the link in the description below the video. I've got some live online training that's very relevant to the video you've just watched. Come and register for that training. Join me live online, and you can actually get your questions answered live as part of that training. So take the opportunity to come and join me live online, click on the link below and secure your spot before you miss the date. Take action right now. As ever, I encourage you to invest in knowledge, invest for skill. Enjoy the next video.